Now, even with a healthy diet, though, and of course, a healthy diet by your standards is quite different even than many raw foodists, but we do need supplementation. So on the other side, the answer is not just to, throw out the whole idea of supplementation.
There has never been a time in human history where people need supplements or proper nutrition more than now in the beginning of the second decade of the 21st century. I mean, we have more stress, more pollution, more activity, more brain work, and all of this adds up to more nutrients. And so we have the less nutrients that anybody has ever had, and we need more. So the 8% or so that are good, 92% being bad on the market, are something that we strongly suggest for people to take. But again, if you're going to take money in this country alone, we spend $22 billion a year on supplements. Why not spend it on the proper whole food living supplementation?
I agree.
Great. Now, in the book, you mentioned that organic farm soils now contain only 2 to 4% organic matter.
Well, I think what we need to do, if you're going to talk about that, is talk about the 4 vitamin misconcepts. And what you're referring to is in misconcept number 1. Food contains all the vitamins you need. So let's start with that, and we can go through the whole 4 on the list. Now, what happened is that we had the very first Earth Summit back approximately 15 years ago, where all the major world leaders came together down in Brazil. And this was the first attempt that humans made to talk about weather changes, about what we're doing to this planet, how to live on it in a healthy way. And again, we're still talking 15 years later, not getting very far, as you just saw recently in Copenhagen. But what they did is they wisely brought together the top agricultural scientists alive then, and they did global reports on the depletion of nutrition from soil, nutrients from soil. Now, sit back and hold your hat on this one. They found that in North America, back about 15 years ago, now it's worse, that we had depleted in far less than 100 years from our topsoil, our farm soil, 85% of the nutrients. So even the so-called organic food that most of you are purchasing from large companies are grown in depleted soil. Most soil that they're growing organic foods on are 2 to 4% nutritious, where, by the way, you have to have 20 to 25% before it's worthwhile calling something a good food that grows in it. So this is the big reason why we don't have the nutrition we have today. They studied thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, and found out that a very few people, less than 25% or less than a quarter of people, actually eat enough fruits and vegetables. Now that's just looking at enough fruit and vegetables. How many of that 25%, meaning 75% do not, to get nutrition, eat adequately grown organic foods? Well, I would render to believe, and we don't have this statistic, it's less than 0.5%. So if 25% are eating enough fruits and vegetables that are grown in depleted soil, it's only 0.5% that are probably getting all the nutrition they need from fruits and vegetables, because they are either growing the food themselves in organic soil that they cultivate, or buying it or living in an area where there's lots of good organic soil.
So to put that in a framework, I guess a more long-term solution is that the soils have to be addressed, at a macro level. But at a micro level, we have to supplement.
Absolutely, you have to supplement. And even those of us who eat extremely well, like I have for 40 years, still I get up every morning, I take 35 whole food supplementation. What? Because there are some of us who expel and expend a lot more energy and love what we do, and so express that in a lot of action and work. And with that, we may need superior levels of nutrients. So we have extra physiological and mental capacity.